Classic World of Warcraft has a pretty grindy leveling system, and some would say it's difficult. You know, pull more than one Murloc, good luck. Playing a warrior, get ready to kill him up and then eat. Paladin, swing that sword, and that's about it. Mage, you can actually AoE level, so that's pretty cool. But the main point is leveling can sometimes feel like a chore, but it has to be done to get to that sweet, sweet end game.
Wow.
So, how do you make the leveling process even worse? You do the Ironman challenge. Now, there is an official site for this, however, how they worded the rules for Ironman Classic kind of seemed like they just copy-pasted it from the live version of World of Warcraft. So instead, I'm going to go with this guy, Werewolf Rider, who is clearly a hunter, but anyways, besides the name, his version that he posted on the forums is exactly the same thing, but his seemed more classic-minded. Anyhow, the Ironman challenge is essentially trying to level up on hardcore mode, and there are a few rules. The main rules being you can't die, you can't have any gear higher than white, no enchants, talents, no professions at all, even secondary professions. You can't pop any potions, you can't pop any freaking food buffs or external buffs, so for example scrolls and whatnot. You can't be in any groups whatsoever. You can't send yourself gold or bags. You really no trading, mail, or anything allowed. You're essentially in the world by yourself. Now, if you break any of these rules, you lose and must delete the character. But if you can manage to hit level 60 with all these rules on, then you complete the challenge and get it cooking. And I want to beat it, and I want to keep track of my progress through the bad and the good until I do beat it. So, welcome to episode 1 of my Ironman series, Classic Edition. Today we hit level 10. Now, there are many classes to choose from, each having their goods and bads when it comes to this challenge. However, I was lucky enough to line somebody up for this, and this person is not only badass, but is the only survivor of Noble Team 6 after the fall of Reach. So, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you guys to Dwarf the Hunter, and I'm very glad I'm going to be able to do the challenge with her. Now, a minute into this challenge, I can be kind of honest with you guys. I made a female dwarf for the memes because I always thought they were pretty ugly and never understood why people would actually play them. But actually seeing it now, they're pretty fucking thick, dude. So I kind of understand. Anyhow, after killing a few wolves and promising this gnome to get his junk that he conveniently left by some trolls, I make my way west to find a dude that really doesn't like boars. And he's going to pay me some pants to assassinate 12 of these guys, which is kind of messed up because they're just chilling, they're just doing boar stuff, but those pants look kind of sick though. Now looking fly as hell, I make my way down south to turn the letter into some dude, and he asked me to kill some trolls, which I'm cool with doing anyways because I gotta get this gnome stuff, and as a reward I can get an axe that looks like it's crafted by Zeus himself, which, I mean, the mere presence of this weapon, like, we mere dwarves can't understand it, so I'm really looking forward to getting it. It's a huge upgrade. Just like everything before, I just started blasting, getting these trolls down, getting some gnome stuff, and I was able to get this quest done pretty quickly. After turning the quest in, the same guy gave me my first contract to kill. The target, apparently deep within the cave, was wanted for mass-producing boars and selling pants made from their skins. I don't know if that's even against the law, but I made my way through the cave anyways. Once I had the subject in view,
NANI?!
I decided to clear out all the other baddies to make sure I would have no problem. Because I just remembered I do have an Ironman challenge. Everything's been pretty easy up to this point, maybe this is going to be my first challenge. With everything clear, it was only him and one other guy left. I decided to try and pull the one on the left thinking it wouldn't pull the big guy, so it'd make it a little bit easier, I don't have to like go 1v2. But this turned out to be a really bad choice.
Fuck! 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 Oh! Ah!
Rest in peace, Quef. You will not be forgotten. Lucky for us, though, she had a twin sister named Quefs. Quickly making my way back to where I was, I soon realized that the axe definitely wasn't crafted by Zeus, and this guy's probably buying these cheap axes in bulk from big lots and fronting them as something good, but regardless, I'm gonna have to grab this axe anyways. Now back at the big man himself, I decided to change tactics and go for him first since he dealt more damage. Only he got pulled for some reason, and it was actually an easy dumb fight, so that's cool I guess. Turning the quest in, I had completed all my tasks that I could here. And I decided to make my way west towards Keranos. I ended up going to Dunmorel. And on my way, I think I discovered another reason why people roll female dwarves. I'm not 100% sure on it though, but I think I have a hunch. Might be the jiggly tits. Once in town, I'm tasked with killing even more boars, which is kind of weird for me because I never rolled a dwarf, so I thought dwarves and boars were like best pals, like they just went together, but apparently that just isn't the case. I'm also tasked with killing yetis, which I think would take more priority over the boars, but I guess not. Regardless though, this is really when I started to notice that mobs hit harder, and it really still wasn't much of a challenge, but things were definitely starting to ramp up. After about an hour or so just sitting there murdering stuff, I was able to complete my quest and turn them in. So, looking out for more quests, I got landed in a home with two gnomes that had a little green gnome chained up in a little cage, and I thought it was kind of weird, but they weren't acting weird about it, so I wasn't going to act weird about it, and apparently they needed spare parts from out west to do a little experiment or something, and frankly, I'm a desperate guy, I need to do what I need to do, so I accepted the quest. I also had another quest that was sending me out that way anyways, so it kind of worked out for the better. Not even 5 feet from the freaking town, I had a very close call with some wolves, and I got away safely, but things are starting to get rough.
He needs some milk!
Once safely moving out west, I did find myself a camp filled with dwarves, where I was promptly tasked with killing more fucking boars. But leopards and bears as well, so I guess I was kind of spicing things up. But then it quickly got pretty scary, and I actually thought I was going to die here. This freaking boar came charging out of nowhere. I could vaguely hear him talking about how I murdered his family or something, and that he was looking for revenge. It doesn't really matter. The point is, this guy was swinging pretty hard. Luckily, I was able to get him down, but if you have a keen eye, you would have seen that I had just failed anyways. Unknown to me at that time, I had just broken a rule. I'd eaten the damn boar ribs, which gave a buff, and although I had killed that pleb boar, he had gotten his revenge in the end, so may his forefathers be pleased. To skip over everything else from this run, since it really doesn't matter now, I got ballsy at level 9 and took on a level 11 Trog, and he promptly beat my ass. Moving on to Quefs, the cousin to the two before, I quickly set out to get back to where I had failed before. However, I was going to play a bit smarter this time. I decided to kill extra mobs to gain not only more XP, but to get money as well. And it really worked out for the better. I had not only managed to hit level 10, but I had got my pet. Now, as much as I would love to actually tell you how I hit level 10 and the adventure at the dwarf camp and so on, it would be a waste. During the editing of this video, I realized that I had used a scroll while fighting the Yetis. I had once again failed to the same damn rule. So, pushing the video back another day, I set out once again to do the challenge and at least hit level 10. Catching up with QuefX to all the ones before, we had completed everything up to and including the hunt on the boars, leopards, and bears. I was now tasked with collecting gears from green small people and stealing wee nugs from the trolls. I decided the little people first. I very quickly found this little mound that I could sit on top of and kind of use as a home base. I'd pull them back towards me and kill them here. And I was practically eating / drinking after every single pull now, just so I wouldn't even risk the slightest chance of death. I gotta be honest, after doing this 3 times before, I simply didn't want to do it again. After killing and stealing stuff from the green guys, I was able to move on and go and grab the weed nugs. Now, these trolls like to group up, however I found that there was a path to the very left of the camp I could follow, where I was able to kill them and grab the nugs, but I was right on the edge and if I fell, it was certain death. Luckily, I'm not an idiot, so after grabbing 6 of them, I just made my way back to the camp, where the man crafted a famous weed beer, and I was tasked with enforcing the product upon the townspeople. Once in town, I turned in all my quests and I was able to reach my goal of level 10, and I quickly set out for the hunter trainer so I can get my pet. My very first quest had me go and tame a boar, which is a really nice change up from all the quests prior. Ironically, after turning the quest in, I killed the boar for its meat to feed my soon-to-be real pet. Next was a snow leopard, which you would think would be kind of hard, but actually was the easiest for some reason, which actually turned me away from getting a cat as a pet. Then, it was time for the bear. Now, the bear smacked pretty hard, but was eventually tamed. And after turning the quest in, I decided to keep the bear as my main pet, and made my way towards Ironforge so I can learn how to feed it, so it won't get mad at me. Because you know giving something food requires special training from only the top people. With my bear fed and me level 10, I've completed the goal of this video, and in part 2 I want to either level in Westfall/Red Ridge to 20, or maybe somewhere else. Maybe if you guys can throw out a few harder spots, I'll go there. And actually, while we're on the subject, if you did make it this far, feel free to comment any rules you think would be cool to add to this challenge. For example, I'm adding that if my pet dies, then he gets deleted too and must be replaced. And while we're here, comment a name for the damn bear. Whoever has the most likes is what we're going to name him. And one last question before I go. Am I allowed to use the pet trainer spell/points? Or is that against the rules? It's just a genuine question, I honestly don't know. Anyhow, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in part 2. If you aren't subbed, make sure to hit that sub button. And if you like the video, please leave a like. It really does help me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.